You've probably seen this beautiful face more times than you want to count. In fact, you might have seen it before you even watch this video in some sort of ad. And you're probably wondering, is this guy actually legit or is this a bunch of shit? A lot of people think that way. And this is why I actually went out and found 4 random students who have been through the course itself. I asked them each 8 questions that they will be able to grade from 1 to 10. 10 being the best and 1 being not so great. That way you can actually decide, is this worth the price? Is this actually a scam or is there value? Let's find out. Tyler the Diver, Henrik, George, thank you, man, so much from the bottom of my heart for joining me today and being open to sharing your opinion on one of the services that I tweeted about not too long ago. For you, I know your experience for today is going to be about Sykes. So if you would kind of give us an idea of, how long have you been trading to begin with?
Yeah, so I started trading in 2009, actively trading.
Okay.
I was into Forex back then because I used to work at a bank in the FX department. So that naturally led into me trading Forex for my own. I did that for a few years and basically I was just trading 2 pairs, okay. Which made me frustrated because there weren't that many opportunities for me. So I started looking into the US stock market because I was thinking, well, 10,000 companies or whatever, there must be so many opportunities.
I've been trading since, I would say, end of 2018, start of 2019, something like that, till now.
Cool.
Yeah, so I started in 2018. It was a little on and off at the beginning, as most people probably are. And then I really got full-time later 2019 is when I was there every day for the open, didn't miss an open.
So I've been just studying for about 1.5 years and then trading for about 10 months now.
Okay.
I
is
haven't
that 1.5 years? Is that include the 10 months?
Correct. It does include the 10 months. So I studied, don't get me wrong, I had a background already in trading when I was younger. I did some trading, but I did it the wrong way. So I basically studied for about, let's say like 6 months, just no trading, just studying.
Yeah.
And then I started trading.
And what along that process, when did you discover Sykes? And was it right at the beginning? You're like, I need to learn trading. Let me just buy a program, or like, where was that? Where was that in the timeline?
I think Sykes was the first one I experienced. Obviously, when you Google stocks, right. The first guy is Steve Sykes, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, the first guy was either Sykes or Ricky G. Not sure which was the first one. I think it was Sykes.
The first Google search I did, and Tim Sykes popped up.
Mm-hmm.
And naturally that led into me watching a few YouTube videos of him. And I think this was in 2014.
I actually found the service right at the beginning. I had a friend who had done Sykes before, and he was the one who actually got me into trading. So like right off the bat, I like knew of Sykes. I had done some research before even opening a broker into Sykes. And I just was like, yeah, this guy looks legit from what I had seen. So we jumped right into Sykes to start off with.
I found Sykes right away. I feel like he's like the godfather of this. Like it feels like he's like the original.
He's everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, man. He's just everywhere. So at first it was just, just it's everywhere. Sykes everywhere. So I found them right away.
I think he just launched the challenge. I was probably one of the first ones of the first batch or whatever. So I joined the challenge for a year, and that was way back when there was actually a pack of DVDs sent out to me. So I had like a folder with DVDs and a lot of papers and everything. I guess nowadays it's all online, but that was back then, 7 years ago.
And what was that like? I mean, can you give us some idea of what your thoughts are just in general? I want to take this time to say thank you to our sponsor, Cobra Trading. Cobra Trading is the go-to broker for day traders and short sellers. And I'm not the only one saying this. In fact, Benzinga awarded Cobra Trading as the go-to broker for short selling. They have a heavy focus on direct market access order routing, so you have the fastest execution. They have some of the best locate prices and availability. They also have amazing customer service. I've experienced many different brokers, and it's why I use them every single day and why I'm proud to have them as our sponsor. Sign up now by clicking the Be the Trader referral link below and earn 1 free month of software with Cobra and 25% off all commissions. Now let's get back to the show.
It was a lot to take on at first. I mean, it's just a lot of information. I feel like no matter who you probably go with to start off, when you have no experience in the markets, never even opened a broker account. But it was what I expected, I guess. A lot of information. He provides a lot of details, a lot of different people to learn from within Sykes community. It was very helpful. I definitely wouldn't have changed anything about the way I started. The only thing I would have maybe changed is when I signed up with Sykes, he has like the challenge and then he has like a membership package, which is monthly.
Yeah.
I started with the monthly package. If I had redone it, I would have just jumped straight into the challenge probably. It's just more information, access to more mentors, more traders, more committed traders, I feel like as well. When you sign up for the monthly packages, it's less in detail, it seems like. Less access to the webinars, the live trading, etc. It's more just like short lesson videos.
So I was in this challenge for a year. I had access to all of the different chat rooms, etc. So that's where I got going, basically.
And whenever you did seek out and join the challenge, at that point, were you already kind of consistent somewhat in your own kind of trading, or are you still trying to find your way?
Yeah. The thing was, I was trying to apply what I did in FX onto stocks. Some of it did work and some of it really didn't. Mm-hmm. So I thought I had some success, but looking back at it, probably not. That could have just been seasonal luck or whatever. So no, I'd say I was definitely in a learning phase, I'd say.
Okay.
Especially now looking back at those years, that was definitely, I was in a learning phase, even though I had profitable months, etc. So no, yeah.
Where are you at now? Just give us perspective change.
I trade completely different back these days than I did back then. Basically, I tried to trade without emotions. Back then, I was a lot more emotional. My heart, I had like a heart rate monitor, and it was going wild.
Yeah, I hear you.
These days, I could put on a trade and just leave it. I can't care less what happens to it because I have a system. Whenever I place a trade, I know what my percentage odds are, and that's it. I'm fine with it. Whatever happens, happens. I don't care.
Good stuff.
So I'm in a much better position now. I think it's a combination of things that you mature mentally, you learn, and you trust yourself, basically. But it's been a long journey to get here. So
for me, it took a long time since I bought product in Sykes or something like that. So I watched almost all the YouTube videos at the start. Obviously, you have Brittany, which is also like a rock star in the trading community. And also he has this video with Ducks, which is one of my favorite traders that I follow. So I was skeptical from the start. I watched like almost all his YouTube videos, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna have a try. Like everybody says only good things about it. So I bought the trading course Silver. I think I ran like 30 minutes straight, and I was like, damn, 30 minutes and he hasn't said anything about trading yet. Only talked about his big traders, and whole point of that you have to study all the time. I was like, I'm studying right now.
Well,
what is studying, right?
Right.
In the beginning, I felt good. I felt good in the beginning. As time went on, and I'm sure we'll get into more detail about this, as time went on, what I figured out is that there's a lot of options out there. And at first, I guess I just thought it was just Sykes and pretty much that's it.
Understand.
But I should have given myself a little bit more time, researched a little more, and I would have found out that there's a lot of options out there.
Gotcha. And when you say a lot of options out there, was there something that in particular that stands out to you that you wish you would have found different? Like, that's what I'm trying to get an understanding.
Oh man, honestly, I wish I would have found you right away. Because
Dude, get out of here, bro. Get out of here, bro. Get out of here.
I'm curious, man. How many people have you interviewed? You know, you interview every different type of trader, you know, and honestly, man, I'm not just saying this because I'm talking.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's just nuts.
You give a huge range. I mean, you've interviewed, endless traders. So honestly, I wish I would have found you earlier, seen a lot of your interviews.
That makes sense.
You know, and then I'm like, okay, man, this guy, you know what? This guy, like, I don't know, there's something about him I like. He's my style.
That's
I
right.
really
Yeah.
wish I would have done that. And I didn't figure you out. I didn't figure out the YouTube, the free resources that are out there. I didn't take advantage of that in the beginning.
Gotcha. That's well said. I never heard that, what you just said. And I appreciate you saying that, because I think someone's going to hear that and be like, they're at the beginning and they don't know who they vibe with. And that's important. So thanks for saying that, man.
And you're unbiased, you know what I mean? Like
I try to be as much as possible.
Yeah, you are. So yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, man. I'm asking everyone the same set of questions because I want this to be an even playing field. And I'd love for you to answer it with a rating of 1 to 10, 10 being the best and 1 not so great. And just give a brief explanation as to why, if you will. The first question is quality of information. A 1 would be there's no information, obviously, none at all. And then a 10 would be, I mean, this is someone who's just giving you everything that you need to learn and understand how to trade.
Maybe 2.
I'd say about a 7.
For a beginner, I'd say it was an 8.
Probably an 8.
The Sykes program is not as well-rounded as I would have hoped. In other words, it's very OTC, long trading oriented, you know, and I really would have liked to have learned a bit of a wider range. You know, right now, if you're just doing OTC long, you're going to be struggling right now in this market, you know, so I really wish, don't get me wrong, there's an endless amount of videos and there's shorting and stuff like that videos that you can see from the past, but it's just very focused. So if you just want to do OTC long, you pretty much got everything you want, but I wanted some more well-rounded.
For a beginner, it was great, I'd say, because it got me into the very basics, and it also was sufficient enough to keep me going for a year without even being close to knowing everything. Some of it was already dated back then, I think, because looking back at, you have to think like this when you're watching someone, some guru who makes a video. That video might be a year old, 2 years old, 3 years old. So there are many parts of it that are dated when you're looking at it or when you're watching it. You have to realize that some of the things will never change. And those are the things that you have to be able to pick out. And so even though that some of the things I was watching back then was dated already then, looking back at it, it's still good information. So I'd say I was very happy with it, especially if you're new into it. I mean, you have to immerse yourself into everything you can find anywhere, everything, anyone.
It was mostly stories about trading. It was a lot of stories about his life and how he got into trading. He uses his bar mitzvah money or whatever, and he couldn't type. He broke his arms. So he told his story like a lot of times, and I already knew the story and everything from YouTube. First of all, everything, like nothing was new from what he taught on YouTube.
Okay.
And second of all, the stuff on YouTube is also not really technical. I mean, I'm a very technical guy. I see stock market as a very black and white. I do a lot of scripting and coding and thinkorswim and do my own indicators. So maybe it's my personal opinion. Some people can watch those stories and be very can motivate them. But for me, I like to get into the technicals. I like to know what makes a stock move, where should I enter exactly, where should I exit. You know, the gist of the setup.
Gotcha.
And I don't think I really got them.
He has a lot of information. I just feel like there's a little bit's left out, if that makes sense. Like you kind of have to go to, I feel like for me to fulfill the whole picture, I had to go to numerous people to learn from. Sykes really gave me the foundation, but it wasn't until I went and started learning from Roland that I learned risk reward and more of like a risk reward strategy, essentially. Sykes was the foundation. The next person I went to and learned from was the icing on the cake, essentially, like put the whole picture together.
What about easy to comprehend?
Probably a 10 on easy to understand the information.
Another 8, I guess.
10. I mean, everybody can understand, I think, yeah.
Good question, because I'm a teacher, so I'm like really picky. Well, I was a teacher. I changed my career so I can trade. Now I work from home later time. But anyways, so I'm really picky about that. I would give it, but I'm going to give this grade not only based on Sykes, but based on his students that you also have a lot of access to. A lot of students that you've interviewed. You know, I'm sure the most popular, Brittany, Jack Kellogg, Kyle, Matt, all those guys. And I got to give it a good grade. When it comes to teaching, again, I would give it about a 9.
You know, for being a beginner, new, which most people I feel like are probably who come to him,
Yep.
he makes it pretty easy to understand, comprehend. The rules are right there in front of you. You'd have to be not listening or paying attention to not get what he's saying, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah.
He or someone else who mentioned the ABCD patterns.
Okay.
The standard ABCD patterns. And when you're new looking at that, you can, I mean, when you see it drawn, it's no problem, but actually finding it in a real-time graph when you're trading is much harder when you're new to it. So even though some of the patterns are explained very well, it's hard for you to find them yourself and be able to say, okay, that's this pattern. Oh, okay, that's this pattern. So,
and explains thoroughly their process in detail when taking trades is the next question. And what I mean by in detail, a 10 would be someone that, you know, they see a setup, they explain what the setup is, why they're even entering, where they're entering, right? Where their stop is if they're wrong, and where their profit targets are. That's what I mean by detail. That's a 10. A 1 would be they just don't really go into anything. So what would you give that?
You know, that's a really good question. Because in my opinion,
Yeah.
nobody really does. Like almost
Sure, yeah.
no one.
That's good to know. That means no one gets 10, period.
Yeah,
So-
that's a really good question. I would say maybe, I mean, I think I'm a little bit too harsh, but maybe like, we'll say 1.
yeah, that's a 3.
I'll give it an 8.
I'd say Sykes was a 5 on that, at least from my experience. It could maybe I was new and not understanding it at that point when I was with Sykes, but
yeah.
it was like 50-50 when I understood what he was doing and why he was doing it.
That's one of the things I'd say is lacking. Not just for him, for everyone who's in any room you're in.
I don't really remember anywhere that was specifically said you should enter exactly when this happens. A lot of traders play on the discretionary side, like, oh, this feels oversold, feels overbought. The MACD is turning. Some people use like RSI, MACD,
Right.
like Ricky and all this kind of stuff. And those maybe can go for the 3s or 4s for your question.
Okay,
But
gotcha.
it wasn't really indicators. Nothing was really black and white in terms of when to enter and exit.
He's pretty detailed. Okay, I just feel that I think newer information needs to come out on the current market. You know, markets definitely change. I mean, I'm a rookie, but I understand from listening to everybody that markets are different, you know. So right now the market is very different. And I don't think it's as detailed as it should be. You know, one thing that he does preach that I got to give him a lot of credit for is cut losses quickly, man. I mean, he drills that into your head endlessly.
100%.
So, you know, but yeah, as far as like levels and stuff, that could be a little better.
And then the next one is quality of production. Now, this is how well it was produced. Okay, so this is going to be like if someone just used a piece of paper and just drew it like this on my hand and explained it like this on camera, that would probably be like, you know, 1, 2. And then a 10 would be just high quality video, audio, like everything's good production.
A 5.
The course was very low production. I think it maybe 3.
Probably a 9 or 10 on that. He seems to put a lot into his production, his quality, and how he presents his information.
I'll give it a 7.
I remember watching the video and I almost felt like he just turned the mic and just say whatever is on his mind.
Yeah.
How was his day or whatever. Actually, my all-time favorite DVD or whatever is like the lowest production. I don't think production really matters a lot. As long as the mic quality is good, you can understand. He also always brags about the way he said, oh, I have thousands of hours of video online, or you can buy thousands of hours, but you shouldn't want thousands of hours.
When you join the challenge, there's videos there, there's older videos there. And some of those older videos, man, it's literally like a PowerPoint and he's like moving and like the production, their quality is honestly bad. But there's a lot newer videos and those, you know, I can't complain about those. Those are great. There's webinars. Oh, cool. Those are great. It's just some of those older videos that he has in there they're pretty.
He's been around for a while, so
yeah. It needs a little like it needs some updating. That's for sure.
Okay.
I mean, it's hours and hours. Okay, they're different courses, but each of the courses are way too long. You can actually cut this down to 3-4 hours and then watch 3-4 really good hours repeatedly, that would give would make much more sense, I'd say, than watching something which is 20 hours long.
That's a good point. I appreciate you saying that. Do you feel it was well worth the price? 10 being absolutely, 1 being obviously not.
I would say 0 because they refunded it.
I'd say either of them are a 10.
Man, so I got to be honest here, man. I got to give it a 1.
I'm shocked whenever you say that because you get some good numbers. So
yeah, man, I am going to give it a 1, Alex.
Back then, I'd say I'd probably give it an 8, but now I'll probably give it a 4.
What's the differentiation? Like why back then and now?
I think it's too much money. I could have done it myself. All the information is out there already. There's nothing in these videos that anyone is making that's not already out there. You just have to be able to find it and see through all the. But even when you find an advert for X making a new DVD, already in that advert there's some really good information, and basically that gives you a hint on what's this going to be about, and you can actually just go find it yourself. So
the price is really crazy. I don't know if you want me to say the price or anything, but
you can if you want. I mean, again, this is at that time when you got it, so everything changes over time. So I don't know, it may not be correct now.
It's like $6,000 or $7,000.
Okay,
and
yeah.
That's just, I'm sorry, man, it's ridiculous. It honestly left a bad taste in my mouth. That's just way too much, you know. If this was the only service available for traders, then you really can't put a price on education.
Sure.
You know what I mean? You really can't. But the fact of the matter is that there's too many options out there. $7,000. You know, I'm in another service now, and it's a third of that price. You know, and there's and I like that service even better. It's just honestly, it's ridiculous. Honestly, the price is just too much.
No worries. And it sounds like even if everything you gave it was a 10, it'd still be too high of a price. You think?
It would be. It would be. There's just
understand.
You're
basically saying like pay attention to the competition around you, everyone, and because you might be able to save some money if you want to.
Yeah, it's supply and demand, right? And there's supply out there. You know, there's other great traders out there that offer services. You know, and I don't know any service that even comes close to that price.
Okay.
So that price is just definitely it's just way overpriced.
Understand.
I mean, you're gonna give that money to the market one way or another.
It's so true though.
you might as well learn the easy way and give the money to it, rather than learn the hard way and give it away and draw out the process.
100%. I do. Yeah, you're gonna give it away one way or the other.
Exactly.
The likelihood that you would repurchase it.
That's 0. Yeah.
0? Okay.
Yeah. No, it's not gonna happen.
Give it 10. I'd probably repurchase it all over again.
Yeah, man. Again, I'd have to give it a 1. I would not. I wouldn't recommend it. And again, I'm not trying to bash or anything.
Right, absolutely. You gave it some great ratings and other things. So
yeah, I'm giving my honest opinion. You know that it just got out of hand. The price is just out of hand. You know, and in the beginning, I thought it was the only thing out there. So like I said, if it's the only thing out there, hey man, you know, what do you pay for college nowadays? You know, you can't. You know, your education is priceless, but there's just competition out there. You know, we got a lot of free resources in YouTube.
That's true.
You give great content, you know, and there's just other services that are just literally a third of the price less, you know.
This specific one, obviously no, but again, it was 2019. It was a long time ago. Trading was very different back in the day. His students are really smart, and I love his students. I would buy something from his students. I did.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Obviously, Tim Grittani, like who didn't buy trading tickets, and I don't regret it. It was great.
The last question is chat room quality. 10 being you got like, it was like really, really like, you know, moderated. There wasn't a lot of noise. It was clean. You got, you know, it was good, you know, understanding, learning, and 1 being just complete noise.
This one, I'll be honest, I don't remember. I either didn't have access to it or I didn't use it because I'm not a chat room guy.
I think I'd give that a 4.
When I was a part of that chat room, which was 2018 to 19, probably a 3.
Yeah, a complete noise.
Okay.
That's a 1. But I tend to think that about basically all the chat rooms. Even a highly moderated chat room is not very good. I'm not a big fan of chat rooms actually, because it's the ones who need it are basically new, and they're gonna want to ask questions. And if it's too highly moderated, you're not gonna get answers to those questions. And if it's unmoderated, you're just gonna get bullshit answers basically. So yeah.
And again, in my head too, I think I'm comparing it to other services that I've tried, and yeah, it's not as monitored. And I think a big part of that is that Sykes is not there very often.
Okay.
He really isn't there as much as he should be, to be honest with you, to monitor those things. A lot of times it's just the students in there, you know, and then there's some mods that come in and out, some of his students.
I didn't like the chat room at all, actually. There's a lot of fluff. It was hard to filter through the important information, important traders. Yeah, I would give the chat room a 3. That was the worst part of his service, actually. I felt like at that time, it could have improved in the last 3 years, but at that time, that was the worst part for me, was his chat room. It was just super noisy, super noisy. He has a lot of people in there, a lot of new traders who are talking like they know what they're doing. And when you believe that, like, you don't know how to filter through who's who and who knows what they're doing and who's just bullshit.
100%. Well, look, man, look, I really appreciate you spend some time today. I know right now you're working and you're working on some, I know you build homes and vans, which is so cool. If you share a picture of me, maybe we'll post it, because that's so cool to me. But anyway, thanks, man, for helping me. Thanks for helping a lot of people out there and sharing your opinion. And again, thanks for putting some time into this.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Thanks for everything you do, man. You honestly help out a lot of people like me out there, you know, and shut out the negativity of some of the haters out there, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Seriously, man. You know, you help out a lot of people out there. You know, I'm a single father, 2 kids. I want to make this happen, man. And you're helping people like me out there. So thank you.
Dude, thanks, brother. That means a lot to me. The final score is... Now it's your turn to decide, is it worth it for you? Good luck.